Morning, Unity of Austin. We are awesome. We are amazing. Thank you. Celebration. Thank you. Thank you. We are amazing. Thank you for taking time for you and your heart and your spiritual journey in your week. We are grateful to spend this time with you today. And we are going to be talking about connection today because today is the very last of the quarter in which we will be looking at the courage to imagine our connection. So I thought it might be an appropriate time for us to look at what is the ultimate connection. What is that? You know, when we're babies, there was a cute little one in here, that we're born into this planet, and from the minute we land, we start making connections. We start putting information together to make sense out of our world. And as we grow up, we begin to make larger connections about meaning and people and groups and our society and how all that fits together so that we can navigate through that successfully. And even into the world of our adulthood, we're still looking at how we connect, what is meaningful, how do we work in this world in a successful way so that we are able to be here and do what we've been called to do. And matter of fact, if I told you something this morning that was going to extend your life by 50%, would you be interested in that? I know, I would too. I would too. It's Dr. Emma Sepla from the Psychology Today says, okay, hear this. The lack of social connection is a greater detriment to health than obesity, than smoking, and than high blood pressure. On the flip side, strong social connection leads to a 50% increase in longevity. Now you got it. Now you know. Social connection, yeah, truly. When we are connected, when my love and your love is connected, I matter in this world and I want to show up in this world and I keep showing up in this world for 50% longer because we are connected. Social connection strengthens our immune system. It helps us to recover from disease faster. People who feel more connected to others have lower rates of anxiety and depression, and moreover, it shows that we have higher senses of self-esteem because we remember who we are. So when I was looking at what is the ultimate connection, you might want to ask yourself that. What is the ultimate connection? I certainly have been in the question of that as I've prepared for this talk. And I thought we might discover it today. Does that sound good? All right, so let's start in history. Let's start in our Christian theology in Judaism and in Christianity itself. The whole concept of Christianity is encapsulated in the history of covenanted community. The covenant, the history of the journey of our human relationship with the divine. And it started with Noah and the rainbow and the covenant of that life and never to destroy life. And it went through Abraham and it went through Aaron and the priestly call and the order to create priests for the church. It went through David, King David, and the reign for the kingdom. And then it went into Christianity when the Last Supper took place and the Eucharist and the creation of the communion, and also in the call of the new commandment that we will love one another as Jesus had loved those he had came to see. That this was the history of our relationship, our connection to the divine as humans to the divine. But do you see there's a problem here? Because the very nature of relationship, me with K, is that I am separate from K. And K is separate from me. That I am separate from God, and God is separate from me. So this concept of relationship holds us almost in a state of duality. That I'm having to seek out something that is out there for me to be connected to it. So our history of our own religion kind of is embedded in this theology of separation and dualisticness. See, our ego, as that little baby was born, comes into this world and it strives to keep us safe. It thinks that that's its job. that it's responsible for us to keep us from eating all the wrong things and to doing the wrong things, touching the wrong things. And so it's striving really hard to keep us safe. And in the society in which we live today, there is a lot of this sense of dualistic thinking that I am separate from you, and that it has created a state of alarm that you can take my good from me and that you can take my serenity from me. And it has us afraid and blindly running from place to place for safety and security and well-being because we believe that it's out there somewhere. Is actually kind of tearing at the fabric of our society, of the kindness and the compassion and the sense of connection of my heart to your heart and your well-being and my well-being. And so feeling that that's separate makes it feel as if I don't have an investment in your well-being. So how do we move out of this state of dualistic thinking into a greater state of connection? I would like to propose that it is communion, the common union of our awareness in the field of infinite love, that has birthed us and brought us here into this amazing creation of this planet. This communion is shared with us about the pathway of how to get from this state of disconnection and duality into the state of communion and connection through the words of Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity. He shared in the Atom Smashing Power of Mind, page 20 to 21. He shares with us that the body, your body, is an instrument of the mind, and that the mind looks to the spirit for its inspiration. See, we have a tool given to us in consciousness, in our ability to think. We actually have the power of dominion, our power of choice. And that this mind can be informative, instructive to this body as it seeks the spirit and allows that spirit to inform us with inspiration. Shows, he says, a very little observation to show that the purer the mind, the more concise and focused your thoughts, the greater its capacity to receive and interpret the ideas imparted to it by spirit. He continues on to talk about prayer. What is prayer? Prayer, metaphysically interpreted in the revealing word, says that it is communion, a common union between God and us, our soul, our spirit. This communion takes place in the innermost part of our being, within us. Prayer is the most highly accelerated mind action known, the highest function of your thoughts possible. It steps up mental action until man's consciousness, human's consciousness, women's consciousness is synchronized with the Christ mind, synchronized with the truth, synchronized with what will set us free. Because God is all that we desire, everything. Dr. David Hawkins says that the presence of God is within and available at all times, but awaits our choice. It awaits our ability to choose to think, to experience that presence and that power. So I'd like to have an experience with you today to move us from this state of dualistic thinking into the state of community, communion, connection, at one-ment, atonement with this presence and the power of God through the conscious choice of our minds. And I'm going to draw from this, from many sources. I'm going to cite them all now because this isn't all me. It's the Holy Spirit that moves. Joe Dispenza, Richard Rohr, Dr. David Hawkins, the Gospel of John, and Acts as well. And so I'd like to visualize with me, if you will, right where you sit, that there is a plane of existence within you. And on one side of your choice is this dualistic, egotistic level of awareness of separation, which we're all quite familiar with. And right in the middle of you is also this capacity to step into a field of connectivity to the one presence and the one power, which is God, the good everywhere present, as if there was a plane of existence that was as if you were stepping into the field of water or a field of pure energy. And this pure energy, as you step into it, infuses you completely. Every quark, every subatomic particle, every fiber, tissue, aspect, bone, structure, everything that is you is immersed in this field. And if you feel so called or moved, if you want to close your eyes and experience the shift, move, if you will, from your right to your left just an inch in your chair to signify your choice to experience the presence of God right now. As we shift into this alignment with this field of energy, we hear the words of those who have experienced this in its entirety. A hush pervades all surroundings, and motion itself slows and becomes still. All things radiate forth from an intense aliveness. Each is aware of the other. The luminous quality of the radiance is overwhelmingly divine in nature. The presence is a continuum that completely occupies what had appeared previously to ordinary perception as vacant, empty space. The pervasive essence includes everything without exception. Nothing is excluded from the allness, which is all-encompassing, total, complete, and lacking in nothing. All is of equal value because the only real value is the divinity of existence itself. Breathe that in. Open up into an experience of that which we live and move and have our being in. This is what Jesus Christ said when the Father and I are one. There is no division, no separation. There is only at-one-ment, atonement. In communion, knowing is intimate, and this intimacy is transformational. Remember times when you have been moved in stillness of sleep, between sleep and wake, a knowingness that has moved within you that has transformed you. This is the knowing that we seek in every cell of our being. It is the knowing of the source and the ground of our existence. This is the goal and the meaning of our human existence. Awakening is noticing that we are already one with this divine presence and with all that it is. Sweet, beautiful beings, do you realize and recognize that as we have stepped into this field of God itself, the quantum field, that as we step into and align with and open to and relax into, that divine mind of God is the genius that is available to us in our thoughts. That genius that can inform our lives. That power that can transform our perspective, that can empower us from a place beyond human comprehension, that can move a mountain or a seeming mountain in your life. It is a space and a place where we are connected to everyone and everything so that there is no lack. Because everything that ever was or ever will be is in the field of our being. It's already here. Can you steep every part of your knowingness in this awareness and moreover center yourself in it to prepare yourself to come into this time in this sanctuary again in a more cognizant way, in a more conscious way? As we become aware of the ground beneath our feet, we stay centered in this awareness of our communion and our connection and the divine. As we become aware of the seat beneath us and the people around us, we recognize the unification, the communion with all beings. And as you become present once again, as you feel so moved, you can open your eyes and see through this perception of our communion and our connection as one. Is this the state of ultimate connection? Yes, I would say so too. I would exactly say so. This is why we were born. We were born to transcend this level of consciousness and to grow into this capacity to feel this love. And so when I was writing this talk, I was thinking this was the end of it. And I thought it was the end of it, but it's not the end of it. Because I went to the Path class on Friday night. And when I went to the Path class, this is a time when we get to sit and eat with those who said, yes, I want to be a part of this community. And the joy of that, we're with the board, we're with the staff, we're with their guests, and we're with them. And we get to hear about their heart. We get to hear about their spiritual journey and what brought them here. Bob shared so much of that consciousness. I want to share a little bit more with you because this expanded my awareness of what the ultimate connection actually is. The statements that were shared were several. And I'm going to try and channel that energy to you. Someone said they had felt so unsupported for so much of their life, but here they are supported, and they felt free to express themselves in whatever direction Spirit guided them to go. Another beautiful being said that authentic people share themselves here, and that they allow that essence of our original innocence to shine forth. They're speaking of you. Another said, I am accepted as I am, with tears because of their unacceptance in other communities. But here they know who they are, is honored and valued, seen and celebrated because of you. Here another said, a mother said, I feel safe and I feel my children are safe. Love and acceptance here is for real. Another said, I can tell when people fake happiness, and I can see it's real here. Another said they drive in 1 hour each way, each Sunday, because I am welcomed here. There is a whole tribe just like me. So as I was sitting there listening to all of these beautiful beings, rather tired because we've had a very intense week, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is why we do what we do. This is why we work endlessly and tirelessly and strive to create these moments in time where we get to come together, because it makes a difference in people's lives. And so the ultimate connection is transcending this dualistic nature. It is stepping into that unification and then sharing that amongst one another here in a field where it's okay to be this and to do this and to speak this and to live it in life. So I thought, surely this is the ultimate connection, isn't it? To share that with one another. But lo and behold, I was surprised. Because then we went into a workshop with John Peterson. John Peterson's a futurist, and he was walking us through where are we at right now and what's likely to happen in the next few years, 10 to 20 years. And I got to tell you, there's going to be some change. Because the one thing that we can see from the trajectory of our history is that change is happening, but it's happening more rapidly, and it's leaping us farther up each time. So what we can count on is that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon, and it's going to leap us into a whole new paradigm, and it has a purpose. All of this change has a purpose. But I got to tell you, when you're perceiving all of that change from this realm of perception of duality, and that my ego has to strive for its happiness and success and safety, that all of that change is going to threaten every human being that's in this state of existence and consciousness. And what I recognized in our time together, John Peterson told us this. Not only has John Peterson told us this, but so has Don Beck. Don Beck is a man who has created a whole theory of development of personality and social structure. And both of these highly educated individuals, John's worked with every branch of the military, I think, except the Army, and he's also worked with the government of Singapore to create a method and a plan to deal with unexpected change, like the SARS epidemic that came to that country, to help them prepare for what they didn't even know they were preparing for. This man has chosen to come here to help us see what this world might look like in the next 10 to 20 years, and I got to tell you, it's going to be changing. Technology is going to change. Our bodies are going to change. The structure of our societies will change. Our world, the economic and the climate, it's all adjusting. It's all moving us forward to a new world. And he said, we asked him at the end, what would you tell us? What would you share with us? And he said, don't mess it up. He said it with tears in his eyes. He pretty much came here pro bono. He didn't have to come here, but he came here to help us because he believes in us. He believes that we are uniquely poised and positioned to make a difference in the world. Don't mess it up. Because we've got something here that's incredibly potent and it's incredibly powerful. That Unity Church of the Hills is actually a bridge. We are a bridge from this level of living in a state of duality into this level of living in community and connection with that which has sent us. This level of recognition and consciousness will transform our perception of everything that happens in the world, because that which is within us is greater than that which is in the world. And it will lead us through our intuition into a state of being that is being birthed right now. And we have been sent here as emissaries of love. We have been sent here as a community that understands the seed of the kingdom of heaven. We have the seed of the kingdom of heaven in our hand. And we have planted it here on our grounds. And we have planted it with each other's hearts. And we trust and we connect and we understand that with each other. But we have a destiny greater than that. There is a level of connection. There is a level of taking the light that is within us and putting it on a lampstand for the whole world to see, to give them a sense of peace and calm, for them to see this bridge of consciousness, for us to help coach them into the process of prayer and meditation that brings out the truth that sets us free. We are capable of doing that, and the wisdom, the knowledge, the skills, the talent, the resources, everything that we have, everything that we are has been birthed and brought together right here, right now, for the purpose of creating a new earth. And we are tasked with that charge. I mentioned Don Beck. Don Beck said to me on the same thing on the phone. He said, if I could choose any city in the United States to bring this information to, it would be Austin. And he said, if I could choose any ministry with the entire community of Austin, it would be Unity Church of the Hills. It's not my words. These are two highly educated men with a highly conscious awareness of what is happening on this earth plane. We have a role to play. And we can do that. And I got to tell you, as we do that, as we organize, as we create structure, as we connect and motivate and allow ourselves to be instruments of this peace and this love on the planet, we will help to bridge the world into a new earth. And the foundation of that is the kingdom of heaven that we already know in, live in, move in, have our being in. We have a calling, Unity. And we can do this. We absolutely can. I want to close. We can, sweet souls. It's us. And the time is now. And we are ready and we are capable. But it's going to take us all. Because you see, the divine lives within every single one of us. There isn't a person here who doesn't have a piece of the puzzle, who doesn't have a divine idea, who doesn't have a special skill set, who doesn't have a passion and a power and a purpose that you have been born to live. It is in you. You are called forth to it. Let's not screw it up. Why would we? We got this, loves. We've got it, and we can do it, and we're going to do it. So the Holy Spirit will guide us through it. I want to close with Richard Rohr's statement. The ego self, with which we are all so much more familiar, is a small, cramped space when compared with the spaciousness of our true Christ self. This is the self that is not only at one within itself, it is at one with the world, and it is with one with all others who share this world. This is the ultimate connection of which we are completely capable and equipped to achieve. Let us go forth together and shine that light into the world. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us today. If you like the message, we invite you to like it or share it. And we also want to let you know that we're on Instagram, Twitter, and we'll see you again next Sunday on Facebook at 11:25.
We're a New Thought church where lives are transformed, and we welcome you to check us out. Check out our website, unityhills.org. We'll see you next week.
Namaste.